We're back, everyone, right here in Massenomics Gym. One of my top favorite gyms here in Western Northeast South Dakota. I don't know, Tommy, do you think, is it number one?
It's for sure in my top three.
Okay, top three.
I don't like to play favorites too much, but it is top three.
Yeah, this video, the reason for this video, that's what I want to start with. The reason for this video is when we get new members at Massenomics Gym, a lot of them always want to ask me about the barbells because we've got a lot of different barbells at this point. We've got over 30 different barbells.
30!
So when you're kind of new to lifting, maybe especially new to like serious strength training, you see all these barbells and you don't want to be a dummy. You want to use the right ones for the right things, and it's not their fault, they just don't know. So they'll ask me the question. That's the appropriate thing to do. They ask me the question, and I start to explain the differences, and I figured, why don't we do a video about this? We can share it out there.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, I can send them the link when anyone asks me, and then I figured, well, maybe everyone wants some of this information. Maybe there's other people out there that want to know some of these differences, that are newer to it, that don't know. So let's check it out. We'll start over here. This is kind of what I would do if someone was asking me the same question too. We'll start over here.
This is like new Massenomics Gym member feelings right now.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Tommy, welcome to Massenomics Gym. About time you joined. We've been here for like 10 years. Where the hell you been?
Son of a bitch, get in here.
Where the hell you been, you old bastard? So check it out. We're at the barbell rack, and this rack is going to be fairly simple because it's mostly what I would call power bars.
Well, as simple as a rack with
like 15 barbells.
15 bars on it.
15 all different barbells on
Yes.
it can be. Yeah, there we go. Simple to me, not simple to someone that's new. But I would tell someone these are mostly power bars. Power bars you can use for pretty much anything. You can squat with them, you can bench with them, you can deadlift with them. You can't go wrong with any of those lifts with these bars. Maybe you'll decide there's other bars later that we'll talk about that you'd rather use for them, but they're okay to use for everything. And how do you know if something's a power bar? First of all, what I would tell people is check the ends of the barbells. A lot of these barbells on the end caps, they say something. They'll tell you what it is. And I don't know, which end of the power bar is this? Is it the one that tells you it's a Texas power bar?
It is a Texas power bar.
Okay. So you know that's a Texas power bar. This one the same way. And so that's your first thing. You can check the end of it because it might actually just tell you what it is. And then if it tells you, you can also Google it. Everyone's got a phone. I tell people, if you know what the bar is, then you can look it up and it'll tell you more about the bar if you want to find out more. But what I look for characteristics in these power bars, they're all going to have the center knurling. We see the center knurling here. Center knurling, center knurling, center knurling. They're going to have one power ring mark, single power ring mark. You see in there, single power ring mark, single power ring mark. Difference here though, this is what I would explain. You see this one, it looks different. It's got dual marks. Why does this one have dual marks? Well, this is still kind of a power bar, but it's slightly more of a universal bar. If you see this dual ring marks, then it's something maybe you want to also use if you're into Olympic lifts. What are the Olympic lifts? Clean and jerk and snatch. So if you're doing cleans, jerks, snatches, maybe you want to look for one of our bars that have these two ring marks. The inside one is the power ring mark that will match up with our power bars. The outside one is what's considered like the Olympic ring. So
I always get that mixed around. That one is hard for me to keep straight.
Yeah, so, but still a lot of these, some of these will also have the center knurl, and I always say if it has the center knurl, it's okay to squat with. A great rule of thumb. So these power bars are all going to have the center knurl. Center knurl, okay to squat with. And if it has that, usually, with the exception of some specialty squat bars, okay to bench with. Another thing you can check is give these the feel test. Grab this.
Well, in Massenomics Gym, though, every bar feels good.
That's true. That's true, but I'm even thinking specifically the diameter.
Oh.
These are all going to feel very similar. Some of these are 28.5. These two are 28.5 millimeter. This one's 29, but just a 0.5 millimeter difference. And you might not be able to tell in a vacuum if you've only got one.
But when that 0.5 millimeter does add up.
Well, and when we compare to the deadlift bars and the squat bars, you'll feel a noticeable difference in the thickness of those bars and say, this one's way smaller or this one's way bigger. Well, there's a separate purpose for those way smaller or way bigger ones. Touch on a couple other notes as long as we're looking at bars. This is obviously a curl bar. Obvious to me at least.
That's not a fancy squat bar?
No, that is for curling. We talked about the dual Olympic ring marks. These are specialty bars. And we'll talk about our specialty bars. This is a Rhino Flex bar. This is an Earthquake bar. If you're new, I'll tell you, you don't need to use these yet. No. So don't worry about it too much. You'll figure these out as you're at the gym for a little bit longer. But those are specialty bars. So that kind of takes care of my power bar discussion on the matter.
That makes it easy, though, that they're mostly all right there.
Yeah, and we keep them, a lot of them over here in the bench area because most commonly these will always get used for benching. They could also be used for squatting and deadlifting, but they'll always be used for their preferred benching bars.
Right.
So let's walk over to our other rack where we'll see more specialty bars, and we'll also get into semi-specialty bars, which I would consider our deadlift and squat bars. True specialty bars is going to be all our ones that have funny shapes to them. You know, they're not just a straight bar with sleeves on the end. All right, let's look at this rack first and see what we've got. This is also a good illustration when they're hanging. I like to show this off because you can see the different lengths of the bar. Something I didn't touch on the lengths of the bar over there. Most of the power bars are going to be similar length. You know, different brands will be a little bit different, but if you look up and down the rack, they're similar lengths. But when we look here, we have some vast differences in lengths in these hanging bars, and that's a good indicator. That's something good for you to look at. This first one here, I'm cheating because I already know the answers to the test. This one is a power bar, so this is kind of like your standard length bar, and this one appears to be similar on the end. This seems to be about the same length, so I'm going to start to understand that these are probably both power bars. These are both really long, so I'm going to say there's something different about these. There's something fishy going on here.
That one's got some debris on it.
That one has actually special debris on it. Maybe some gyms do this. This used to say deadlift on it, so that was a cheat code, is you could find out that that's a deadlift bar.
Because you catch people squatting on the Oki deadlift bar, which isn't ideal.
And let me show you why you don't squat on the deadlift bar. So like we're talking about, this one was a power bar. It looks much like the other ones over there with the center knurl. Feels about the same width. It's regular length. This one, though, no center knurling.
Dead giveaway.
And in Massenomics Gym, that's going to tell you it's either probably a deadlift bar or potentially it could be like some sort of specialty Olympic bar. But in Massenomics Gym, no center knurling is almost a dead giveaway that it's a deadlift bar. And then I was talking about the feel. If you feel both of these bars, this one's 28.5 or 29,
you know it.
And this one is 27, it's noticeably different. It's noticeably smaller around. That is another giveaway for a deadlift bar. The smaller diameter, the 27 millimeters, and the length. Deadlift bars are always longer than the power bars. So that's another giveaway.
So what's this longest one here?
The longest one. We'll go by the rules of thumb that we've established. So it's got a center knurl.
Oh.
So it's not a deadlift bar.
We're getting some exceptions to the rule
here. It's got
a
center knurl. We know it's not a deadlift bar. Deadlift bars never have a center knurl, but it's big. We got two other power bars for comparison, but this one, it's noticeably bigger. Visually, you can tell it's bigger around these other bars. Maybe I'm biased because I just know these, but I feel like you can just look and see that this bar is bigger around. It's 3.5 millimeters bigger around than these other ones. And then it's got a lot of knurling on it. So center knurl, very big around, a whole bunch of knurling. This whole shaft is almost knurled. There's just small gaps right here, and long. So what that tells me, big, long center knurling, a whole bunch of knurling, big around, it's a squat bar. That is a bar for squatting. This one, if you use the first thing we talked about, you can actually cheat on this one too. It'll tell you on the end of it, this is a Texas squat bar. So when in doubt, always check the end caps because it might give you the answers. But that's what you look for in a squat bar. Bigger around, big center knurling, longer.
Okay.
Squat bar. It's bigger around because it makes it stiffer.
Also weighs a little more, right?
It's heavier. Great point. We've got a cheat sheet we could look. Maybe we should jump to that too.
Okay. This test does allow cheat sheets.
Yeah, we didn't talk about weights on the bars. Most power bars are either going to be 45 pounds or 20 kilograms. I would tell a new person not to worry about that. Just call them all 45 pounds. It's all going to be the same. But then we do have a cheat sheet here for our odd bars, our squat bars, our specialty bars and everything. So first one on the list, the bar we were just looking at there is a Texas squat bar. It's going to tell you 55 pounds. And then you can go down the list of all these other specialty bars here, and it'll tell you the weight of them. But what I would go back to, a lot of the bars will literally say on it what it is. That Texas squat bar will tell you it's a Texas squat bar. And if you're curious about the weight, you don't know, you don't have a cheat sheet like this, Google it, look up the Texas squat bar. You'll find on the website, it'll tell you that, hey, this bar weighs 55 pounds. Now you know. You just got 10 pounds stronger today and you didn't even know it. You thought you were squatting 315 and it turns out it was 325.
PRs, baby.
Let's go to this last couple racks just in case we missed anything we haven't talked about yet. So just a quick quiz on this one again. That's going to be simple. You can see length. These two are very similar length. They seem to be a standard length. They both have center knurling. We know those are generally power bars to be used with benching, squatting, or deadlifting. This one is longer, skinnier, no center knurl.
All right, so that is a deadlift bar.
That's right, that's a deadlift bar. You passed the test. That's a Rogue Ohio deadlift bar that we're looking at there, and it kind of fits the criteria of the rules we discussed. This will be a recap from the other side as well. Now we've got a very long bar, but a very big diameter.
Oh yeah.
And a whole bunch of knurl. The center knurling is like 14 inches long or something here.
Clearly a hang clean bar.
That's the one you use for hang cleans. No, you failed. That's a squat bar again. Let's go to the back here. One more. We might as well look at a whole bunch of the bars as long as we're doing this.
This is just turned into show and tell at this point.
Yeah, it is. This is another power bar. It meets all the criteria. Power bar meets the criteria. I just want to talk about a couple oddities, things we haven't hit on. You say, I've listened to all your stupid rules, Tanner, but this bar doesn't make any sense. Well, there's always an exception to the rule. Rule number one, there's always an exception to the rule. No center knurling.
Okay.
Dual ring marks, but it seems to be about a standard diameter and standard length. So this is a kind of Olympic use bar. We know that we did
What's
talk
the
about
end cap tell us?
Does it tell us?
Oh boy, it gets even more confusing.
Is it a boneyard bar? Yeah, that adds to the confusion. If it wasn't a cheap boneyard bar, it would tell you that this is probably a Rogue Ohio bar, or it's what it is. It's a bar to be used with the Olympic lifts again. And the true test there is the dual
double
rings.
rings.
Anytime you see the dual rings, that's what it's for. Some of ours have the center knurling, some of them don't. Do we want to look at these specialty bars? I'll just make a quick note. That's not really what this video is about, but just a quick note.
Maybe we'll acknowledge their existence.
Specialty bars exist.
The end.
We have a variety of them here. They look all different. They serve different purposes. We're not talking about those today.
Really easy to store, too.
Yes. It's a disgusting game of Tetris to keep all these in here. But various specialty squat bars, pressing bars, trap bars, and deadlifts. We'll do a different video about that at some point in time. But hopefully, if you're new to the gym, you're new to the serious lifting scene, this gives you a little bit better idea of which bars to use for each lifts and how to recognize those bars when you see them when you walk into a gym like Massenomics gym. So you won't be intimidated. Don't let anyone intimidate you, damn it.
Or the bars.
Don't let the bars intimidate you. They're just bars. They don't
go to war with these bars. They don't scare you.
They're ours. We own them. They're our property. They do what we tell them. So that's about it for this episode, I think. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave us a comment. Let us know what questions you have about barbells that we didn't answer.
Yeah, is there any other additional exceptions to the rules that Tanner missed?
What exceptions did I screw up, or what did I say that you think, oh, you buffoon, that's not even right. You don't even know your own bars, you dumbass. Like the video, make sure to subscribe to Massenomics YouTube. New videos every single week, along with a new podcast episode every single Monday. Check out our Massenomics merch while we're at it. See you next time.